As I was watching the Game Awards and witnessing Baldur's Gate's well-deserved victory, I noticed the ad ran by Bethesda. This sad note, which was seemingly sincere, came off as sad and desperate, as if they bought the ad space as a thank you for the Game of the Year nomination, yet they didn't receive one. It was kind of funny seeing Bethesda be the ones to waste money for a change, though. If you aren't aware, Starfield, Bethesda's latest title, was noticeably absent from the Game of the Year discussion and lost their sole noteworthy nomination, RPG of the Year. Starfield is a polarizing game, and some feel it was robbed of some accolades on award night. However, I, and many others, don't see the outrage. I mean, these Xbox and Bethesda fanboys are so loyal, they will give each other Nuka-Cola enemas. I understand being a fanboy. Hell, I love Bethesda and their previous games, but that's what makes this video hard to make, but also a necessity. You see, as I explore the fandom, I keep seeing the same response and finger pointing. Creation Engine sucks. Creation Engine is the problem. Fix the Creation Engine. This might as well be the mantra of Bethesda haters and critics. I mean, these people blame every single one of Starfield's problems on the Creation Engine. It reminds me of when people used to blame Obama for everything. How did I get herpes? Obama, bitch. But I think it's about damn time we set the record straight. The Creation Engine isn't the problem. Bethesda is. Sure, the Creation Engine is outdated and held together by duct tape, but I can't blame the car when it's Bethesda behind the wheel. You see, Starfield has a fatal flaw that goes beyond its technical limitations. It was built with a singular, linear goal in mind, making an endless game, one to topple Skyrim in longevity, reigning supreme for modders and fanboys alike. Endless planets, generated quests, new game plus, countless systems to explore. Do what you want, when you want. Sounds great, right? The problem with this is, every system, mechanic, and aspect of balance was contorted to fit this goal, mostly to the detriment of the game and fun factor. Bethesda's attempts to make the game enjoyable for a casual player and be endless in scope are the culprits of Starfield's bland gameplay. So many of Starfield's problems aren't the Creation Engine's fault. Rather, it's the handiwork of terrible game design and mechanics. That is the much harsher truth. You see, as you take a step back, you can see how Starfield is just the latest catastrophe. People want to suggest Bethesda's game design and the Creation Engine itself is outdated. Is that true? Sure. Creation Engine has some problems, but these problems seem to be because of Bethesda's negligence, hence why modders can implement patches faster than Bethesda can, patches that also work better and don't break the game. You see, Creation Engine, while having flaws such as rendering, also has some advantages, such as its scripting allowing for easier and smoother implementations of mods. I don't think it's the technology that is holding Bethesda back, rather, it's their inability to harness it correctly. If I were to give other studios the Creation Engine and Starfield's budget, do you really think no one would make a great game? I'm sure there would be improvements to the system, but these needed improvements still fall on the shoulders of Bethesda. It's a Frankenstein system being poorly used and stretched beyond its limits by a team that is overly ambitious and clearly lost the plot. Creation Engine isn't at fault though for Starfield. It's not the reason for the lackluster story, terrible progression, and poor design choices. That is Bethesda's own doing. You see, in their quest to make the game casual when endless, they created something soulless. By Todd Howard's own admission, it took years to find the fun in Starfield. For some of us, we're still looking. Every aspect of Starfield was changed or altered to make this endless dream a reality. Gone were the handcrafted landscapes and unique environments that made their previous titles so damn fun to explore. In their place, we got bland, soulless walking boxes filled with generated content. Again, they wanted the game to be endless, so they created Eternal Damnation. More steps were taken to create this vision of an eternal title, requiring more things to be deformed in order to make it work. For starters, your character was given an endless progression system, yet also levels up so damn slow. Want to know why? Because they want you to beat the game 10 times. They don't want you to be level 379 on your second run of 10. In the process though, leveling up feels like you're constantly edging. Just from my own personal experience, I beat the entire game, all the faction quest lines, and plenty of side content, yet wasn't level 60. Why does that matter? Well, because Bethesda locks content such as ship parts behind levels. Is there a lore-friendly reason for this? No, they don't care about your immersion. They do this for balance and in their minds to keep the game fresh after 60 hours. I understand their choice, but too bad you won't see this locked content because playing their game for 60 hours requires alcohol or the fortitude only offered by hours of grinding on LEGO Fortnite. So, you want to level up with the speed of a handicapped slug? You'll need missions, right? What kind of missions can a procedurally generated endless game offer? Well, Timmy, dogshit ones. Dogshit missions? Oh boy! Oh boy is right, Timmy. Here in Starfield, we offer the most brain-dead, useless, and otherwise repetitive missions a game can offer. Wow, thanks, mister! You betcha, sport. You see, Starfield missions have to fit the endless generated theme of the game. Bounty boards replace actual thought-out or unique quests. Gone are the days of unique locations, characters, or items. Starfield even has the audacity to remove cell phones and other forms of long-range communication. Why? Because someone needs to fast travel to Mars and speak to that person. And by Mars, I mean up Uranus. Is offering plenty of missions bad? No, but they could have gave them impact. Hell, even Skyrim had Radiant quests, yet these missions built toward a goal and unlocked things. Even other games, such as Cyberpunk, offer more generic content, but they tie it to a reputation system, allowing you to do smaller missions that build up over time, unlocking things for the player that are completely unique. Starfield just offers the same 5 mission types, then rewards you with random, generic loot. Do these missions build to a climax? No, they can't. Again, the game can't give you massive impacts unless it's the main story, and even that feels disconnected. They can't let you alter the world too much because, again, this world has to be boundless and inflated. Is the creation engine the reason missions suck? No, it's the design. Now, I don't hate procedurally generated content. I just hate when it's mindlessly implemented in place of handcrafted content, or when the game is forced to alter systems for the worst because of it. There are ways Bethesda could have made it cool and used the system for its advantages. Imagine unmarked quests forcing you to adapt and survive. Bethesda spent years developing what could have been a great mechanic, then used it incorrectly. It's like developing a new iPhone only to use it as a butt plug. Bethesda would rather make 5 generic mission types and send you across barren planets fighting randomized enemies with randomized weapons. Mindless, casual hell. Starfield also creates unique biomes and planetary traits that offer nothing unique in return. You can scan every planet in the known systems in multiple New Game Plus runs. Does it offer anything other than XP or credits? No. Look at the generated planets themselves. The sheer amount of endless planets only further highlights how out of touch Bethesda really is with its design choices. It would be cool if these barren planets were unique or needed to be scavenged in order to survive, but no, they don't. That moon looks just like this moon, and they both have that abandoned relay station. It's a perpetual loop of despair. Then you add terrible generated nav meshing, terrible AI, bland combat, and lackluster enemy design on top of an already bitter shit sandwich. Wow, so glad this planet is endless. In order to achieve this massive scale, poorly designed features were used. Hate fast travel in games? Then Starfield is your antichrist. Some people will blame the creation engine for this. I don't. I blame the people who thought we wouldn't care. Like 5 years ago when they were making this, did no one question this? I know someone who did. The creation engine itself. It kept crashing and saying, "Please, Todd, kill me. Put me out of my misery. I can't handle the 1,000 planets. Please, Todd, please stop. No, stop." Then Bethesda did what it always does.
If you can't fix it with duct tape, then you ain't used enough duct tape.
So, Bethesda now has their 1,000 planets and endless missions. Now what? Well, if you guessed more dogshit game design, you're a winner. So many features have regressed compared to previous titles. This isn't the creation engine's fault. It's not reverting back to Windows 95. No, it's Bethesda. In their attempts to make the game more casual and modern, they broke or neglected previous systems. For starters, melee combat. Melee combat felt bad in Skyrim, but in Starfield, it somehow got worse. Starfield features a whopping 9 melee weapons and has 0 customization and linear DPS values that make it all feel shallow. Now, how and why did Bethesda ruin melee combat? Is it A, the Creation Engine, B, Bethesda's terrible game design, or C, Obama? If you guessed A, go fuck yourself. And it's not just melee. So many of Bethesda's systems regress. Exploration is terrible. Enemies seem to have been lobotomized. Companions are limited in number and can no longer be given commands, making them seem shallow. Outposts are easier to make, but no longer have a purpose and can't even be used as a waiting area for unused companions. And then somehow, they even took Dragon Shouts, a mechanic they made a decade ago, and made it worse. The game tries to incentivize you to complete the story 10 times so you can fully upgrade your powers. That means doing that terrible temple minigame hundreds of times on barren empty planets. This inflated and lackluster gameplay is not the Creation Engine's fault. What should have been a cool wrinkle to combat is contorted to fit the endless gameplay vision, once again showing that everything suffers in Bethesda's quest for an endless casual title. Starfield is a glorified looter shooter. Go to an empty planet, kill everything in sight, equip your better gear, rinse, repeat. Endless planets, endless quests, endless looting, endless shooting. Now, I understand Starfield's appeal. Looter shooters are a popular genre and gameplay loop in today's gaming market. Yet, Starfield doesn't even compare fairly to these games. Now, some of you might not mind these bad features, but that doesn't change the fact that some of these features and mechanics are done better in other games, including Bethesda's. Hell, let's look at shipbuilding. Finally, an awesome new system done right. We've all spent hours toiling away in the builder, trying to find the perfect combo of sleek and sexual. Yet, remember, it has to be endless. So instead of flying your glorious ship around, you are going to fast travel it around. Instead of flying and landing on planets, you'll be watching a landing sequence thousands of times. Again, you can blame the Creation Engine for this technical limitation, but I personally believe it's more of Bethesda's poor design. I believe that if Starfield had a more limited scope, perhaps we would be able to fly our ship between planets. Even if Starfield had the greatest loading times in the history of gaming, that wouldn't fix the barren planets, bad combat, or generic content. Are load times important? Sure. But they can be overlooked when what is loading is worth the wait. Look at previous Bethesda titles as an example. Personally, I just don't believe arming Bethesda with Unreal Engine 5 is going to make a difference. That isn't going to stop them from writing bad quests or implementing poorly designed mechanics. It'll make zero difference. And the sadder truth, they didn't even need to go down this path of endless suffering. You see, they keep wanting to recreate the longevity and magic of Skyrim, yet in the process, ironically created a game that is nothing like it. It's as if you tried to cure cancer, yet in the process, gave everyone life-threatening herpes. Was it the Radiant quest that made Skyrim endless? No, it was the continued love from the fandom. People that continue to play and mod the game to this day. When you create a game with great mechanics, a fun loop, and with passion, these games tend to have a longer shelf life, hence why we reflect glowingly on games of yesteryear, or why gamers today are still digging up old games for the first time. 4K graphics, endless content, endless loot. This isn't what would make Starfield endless. It could have been the story, gameplay, characters, unique missions, and the atmosphere it all creates. Again, this video doesn't come from a place of hatred. It's not easy watching a company and games you care for fall from grace. It's like watching a prize fighter beyond his prime continue to take punishment and CTE damage. Creation Engine isn't the problem, it's Bethesda. In my opinion, their goal of making Starfield endless created a game that was terribly designed with poor mechanics and poor gameplay loops. Can you like Starfield? Sure, plenty of people do, and this video isn't meant as an intervention. However, I only ask people to stop making excuses for bad mechanics and their reliance on modders. Who's to say modders even want to mod this game? Why would they want to? Sure, some will, but I would not be surprised if some modders refuse to work on this game and stick to making mods for other superior Bethesda titles. Creation Engine, while being a flawed system, isn't the reason Bethesda recycles bad ideas and creates terrible gameplay mechanics. It's again, Bethesda. I think Starfield is a great game when viewed from a modding standpoint, for I will always support games that allow fans or players to flex their creativity, including games I don't even play. The very reason for Starfield's modding capabilities is the Creation Engine. It's odd seeing the savior of Starfield being the very thing people are blaming for its failures. Is the Creation Engine flawed? Yes, but it's not the reason Starfield is mediocre. It's going to save Starfield. Starfield isn't the best RPG. It's not even the best looter shooter. It's not the best space game, and it's not the best Bethesda title. Starfield is a game with massive flaws, and these flaws are because of bad design. I, for one, hope one day they can be fixed. I just won't be holding my breath. So, with all this being said, if you like this video, make sure to give it a like and comment with your thoughts on Starfield. Have a good one, and remember, if you hate Starfield, blame Obama.